Dexter might have some trouble with Gareth / Gemini.
He seems extra creepy.
There was a very interesting interview with Christian Ritter, David Dastmalchian, and Eric Stone Street. And the interviewer asked if they were aware of the Bay Harbor Butcher. And David said, Gareth / Gemini knows everything about everything. So he already knows and sees through all the weaknesses of the Bay Harbor Butcher. So he sees through all the weaknesses. That hints to me that he knows a little too much. If the Bay Harbor Butcher is James Doe, that sentence doesn't make sense.
No, yeah.
So we got to watch out for Gareth. This is going to be super interesting. And I can't wait to see what comes of it. Hey guys, what's up? I'm Kelly Raw Dog Keen.
I'm Jazzy Airy Boogie in the club getting tipsy shamanic.
And we are the Antler Queens. Formerly in a Yellow Jackets only podcast, now a Dexter and Yellow Jackets podcast. Today we are breaking down the episode Dexter Resurrection, episode 4, Call Me Red. The way we do things here, there are, believe it or not, we have a bunch of people who actually don't always watch all the episodes, but they like to follow along with our coverage. So for that reason, we do a very detailed recap at the top of the episode. You can skip past this if you're not a recap person. We mark all of the chapters, and then you can go right into the discussion where we list our MVPs, our LVPs, and our top and bottom fives of the episodes. Sometimes the fives are just silly. Sometimes they're actually very, very interesting and layered and nuanced. But we always have fun with it, and we never take things too seriously. But we're both loving the series so far, huh?
It's been really fun.
Yeah,
it's been really good.
I agree. I by the way, I just had to share a funny story. So I woke up this morning with hit by yet another bug. I feel fine now. Like I got some stuff to take care of it, but the nurse, I did a telehealth visit, and the nurse practitioner that I did the visit with, her name was Christian Ritter.
Oh, weird.
So funny.
But by daylight, nurse practitioner by daylight.
Yeah, seriously. But also, I wanted to mention that San Diego Comic-Con is this weekend.
I know.
So there is going to be a Dexter panel. So hopefully that will be live streamed before Sunday night, so we can talk about that during the after show. Join us Sunday night, guys. Also, Jazz and I have been hit by a lot of illnesses lately. So we've been struggling, okay? Yeah. We've had some bad luck.
It has been a month.
Yeah. I still can't breathe. I still don't have my voice back. I'm still hacking. It's like, oh God.
I have to use a cane to get from my bed to my bathroom.
Oh,
it's not great.
That's awesome.
It's been a struggle.
But yeah, so I apologize, but that's why we've missed a couple of the after shows. But if you would be interested in being a backup co-host for our after shows, please let us know in the comments. Because we would love to, if one of us is fine and the other has to take off, we'd love to still, like, you know, at least be able to do the after show if we had a backup. We just don't want to do it by ourselves, you know. Mm-hmm. That's no fun. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the episode, shall we?
Absolutely.
All right. Dexter attends a mysterious gathering hosted by a highly influential figure with macabre ambitions. Harrison continues to struggle with mounting guilt and pressure at work, just as Angel Batista arrives in New York City. We open on Dexter sitting at the phony dark passengers, or Red as he liked to be called, apartment, playing with his infrared hoodie, admiring how the tiny LED strip completely camouflaged his face from his cell phone camera. He spins around in the desk chair, modeling his full Unabomber look for Ghost Harry. Harry is perturbed by the joy that Dexter seems to be taking in this and warns him that it could all be a setup. But Dex gleefully argues that it's most certainly a serial killer dinner party, a veritable all-you-can-eat buffet of unsuspecting victims for his dark passenger. Remembering that the party is thumbprint entrance only, he reveals that he's made a mold out of the deceased Ronald's thumb. He deftly paints the inside with wax and quickly fashions a slide on the thumb cover, hopefully providing him with a new print to fool the monitors at the event. As Dexter continues getting ready, Harry expresses his disapproval. He mentions the only other known meetup of serial killers that's happened in history, the pig farmer. Harry worries this will be a similar event with ritualistic orgies and group murders. Dexter reassures him that he has a contingency plan if his subterfuge goes tits up. Dexter walks up to a black car parked nearby. The window rolls down to reveal Charlie. She's asked if he's Ronald Schmidt, to which he replies, "Call me Red." The car doors unlock. He's passed the first test. He begins to get in the back behind the driver's seat, but Charlie, fully aware of his MO, scoffs and reveals a pistol at her hip, demanding he sit shotgun. Chatting on the way to the party, Charlie tells him how difficult he was to find, but it ended up taking her about 3 weeks. Internally, Dexter mocks her, not letting on that it only took him 3 days to find Ronald's home. Arriving at their destination, a posh building with a doorman, Dexter is quickly guided to an elevator with a thumbprint lock. He reaches to push the button, but Charlie stops him for a quick ocular pat down. Charlie invites him to try the thumb pad. The first 2 tries won't work. Claiming sweaty hands, he adjusts the fake print and tries again. This time it turns green and the elevator doors swing open. He's in. Upstairs in the beautiful mansion, Dexter is greeted by the homeowner and host, Leon Prater, Peter Dinklage. What he lacks in height, he makes up for in exuberance and a sincere sense of delight in meeting Red. He explains to his guests he's been hosting this party for years, and while it may seem strange, this is indeed a completely safe place for people like him. Dexter ponders the expression, "like you." Leon stifles a giggle and claims that he doesn't have the skill set or creativity to do what he and the others do. Leon gives Dexter the tour of his palatial New York estate. He explains he's a venture capitalist who focuses on buying promising startups, but he also prides himself on breaking groups of unusual and fascinating people together. As they enter the gorgeously appointed wine cellar, Charlie dismisses herself as Leon pulls a bottle off of a rack. Leon informs Dex that she doesn't have the appreciation for this next section of the home as he does. He motions for Dexter to push the button that was previously hidden by the bottle he removed. A secret passageway swings open, revealing an elaborate locking system. Unlocking the door and letting him in, Leon tells him this is where he keeps his most prized possessions. Taking up the entire doorway is a giant clown costume on a mannequin. "Clowns?" Dexter asks out loud. "Pogo the clown," corrects Leon. Dexter's eyes widen as he realizes he's staring at the garb of the infamous murderer John Wayne Gacy. Leon's secret room is a veritable treasure trove of serial killer delights, including Jeffrey Dahmer's refrigerator, a car seat owned by Ted Bundy, Trinity killer Arthur Mitchell's hammer, the very one Dexter used to kill him. Turning a corner, Leon says that he purchased these items from an FBI agent with a bad gambling problem. Dexter is overwhelmed with emotion to see his box of slides, here incorrectly labeled as belonging to the Bay Harbor butcher James Dokes. He ever so gently runs his fingers across the slides when Leon scolds him and asks him not to touch anything. Snapping back into reality, Dexter apologizes, but tells his friends that he misses them. Dexter laughs, overwhelmed. Next, Leon shows him the table the ice truck killer used to take his own life. Dexter's memories of saving his sister Deborah from a horrible date and then killing his own brother flood his mind. Leon continues the tour unfazed, pointing out displays that belong to tonight's guests. Rapunzel, who collects his victims' ponytails, and the tattoo collector, who peels and preserves tattoos off of the skins of his prey. Dexter is unfamiliar with their work, rolling his eyes slightly about meeting the ponytail guy in this vault with so many icons. Leon mentions he's made a space for him, that is, if he's willing to part with one of his trophies. Dexter pulls the driver's license out of his pocket and feigns the sorrow as he passes it on to its new owner. Leon becomes emotional as he reads the name, Tyler Day, you're first. I'm truly honored. As Leon delicately places the driver's license into his display case, Dexter remarks on how he feels safe with all of this evidence in his home. He says that people trust him and the 5 inches of solid steel behind the limestone. He also reveals how simple it is to call Charlie to his side, guns drawn. Stating that this was simply a demonstration, Leon excuses Charlie to go back to her business as she turns to walk away. She then announces that Mia is here. In the next room, a gorgeous woman in a black dress examines Leon's wine collection, praising his new additions. Leon introduces her as Mia, played by Kristen Ritter, aka Lady Vengeance, given her moniker because she notoriously preys on sexual predators. Dexter lights up at this news. Does she follow a code like he does? Dexter and Mia chat over wine. Mia flirtatiously scolds Dexter on his bad etiquette, then explains how to treat wine like an obnoxious douche. The elevator dings, and a casually dressed man hops off. He's on FaceTime, congratulating his child on making a goal before sending his wife love. He and Mia embrace, and she introduces him to Dexter as Al, played by Eric Stonestreet. Al pulls Dexter in for an unwanted hug. Dexter asks how he gets away with it with having such a secret. He explains that these meetings are a form of self-care, helping keep him and his secret identity, the ponytail guy, safe. The elevator dings again, and out strolls a smarmy man in a terrible wig. He embraces Rapunzel, affectionately calling him a big tub of shit. This is Lowell, played by Neil Patrick Harris. He attempts to hug Mia, who refuses with a glare and settles for a fist bump. Taking in the new guy, he welcomes Dexter to the freak show. Dexter answers sincerely, "There's no place else I'd rather be." Over at Lance's apartment, Batista knocks on the door. Mistaking him for Postmates, Batista pulls out his badge, and Lance begins to choke. Batista asks to speak with the truck's owner. Lance insists he bought the car from his friend Harrison. Batista is quickly connecting the dots. Back at Leon's, the assembled members discuss their weapon sharpening techniques when a very pale man enters the room to join the rest, apologizing for his lateness by saying he was unable to find a rideshare. Lowell asks Dexter if he had anything to do with it, and they all laugh. Al asks the newcomer Gareth, also known as the Gemini Killer, to fill them in on his year, but he declines. Lowell laughs and tells him not to be such a stereotype, claiming Gareth was voted most likely to become a serial killer in high school. They continue laughing and drinking and sharing. Dexter excuses himself to refresh his drink and chat with his incorporeal nuisance. Harry immediately does not like how chummy things are getting and asks Dexter what he thinks is happening in there. It seems like some sort of boogeyman's club. He asks Dexter if he's really planning on killing those people. Dexter says he hasn't done any research into them. He doesn't even know if the rumors are true, and that doesn't really measure up to the code Harry taught him to follow his whole life. Harry scoffs and says that he also taught him not to play with his food. Man and Ghost exchange smirks as Leon calls them to dinner. Spotting Dexter in the back room, Leon smiles somewhat knowingly. In the next room is an opulent dining table laden with all sorts of beautiful and tempting dishes. Everyone sits down excitedly to begin sharing the meal. Al asks if Keith is coming, and there are some quick shots back to the man that Charlie killed in episode 2. She hands his bat to Leon, who says the Canton Clubbers Club will now join his collection, since Keith has no further use for it. There's tense silence for a moment. Leon resets the room by reminding them they all have so much to be thankful for. He welcomes Red into the group, and they all drink a toast to him. Lowell reaches for a giant lamb chop, and it lands on his plate loudly. The rest of the group begins to dig in. Dexter admires the perfectly cooked pieces of meat in front of him, but is cut off by Leon unveiling a special dish just for him. Braised cauliflower and turnips. Delicious. Dexter tries to mask the disgust on his face. As Leon explains during Charlie's recon, she noticed that he was a vegan. Barely masking his horror and disappointment, he begins to work at his plate of veggies. After dinner, Lowell pulls down a screen and says this year he's trying something different. Puzzled, he looks to Leon, who instructs him to watch. This is the best part of the evening. Grimly, Dexter worries that this is going to be a vacation slideshow. Simultaneously, Mia leans over and informs Dexter that if this is a vacation slideshow, she's going to set herself on fire. He looks genuinely charmed by her. Lowell continues with his presentation, explaining that he's been stalking a young tattoo artist for some time. When she posted a sketch of her recently deceased dog that she was going to have tattooed, Lowell knew she had to be his next victim. It was inevitable. Dexter questions this. Lowell explains that she ignited a spark they all share, a desire to kill that won't go away. They take turns naming it. The need, the great yearning, the itch. Dexter chimes in with the urge. Leon asks why the tattoo isn't present today, but he informs him it needs a few more sessions, but he will be presenting him with this trophy before he leaves the city. Leon thanks Lowell for his time, and Dexter silently thanks him for making himself an easy first for his own urge. Leon urges Dexter to share, but tells him he doesn't have to on his first time at the party if he's not comfortable. Dexter is surprised to hear that there's going to be more of these gatherings. Leon says they have many activities planned over the next 2 weeks. Back at the hotel, Harrison checks Ryan Forrester's watch, his own personal telltale heart ticking away loudly in his pocket. He arrives at work and goes to clock in, only to be stopped by Batista. He introduces himself, but Harrison doesn't recognize him. He reminds Harrison of his sister Jamie, who used to babysit for him. He remembers her very well and asks how she is. Batista proudly remarks that she has her PhD now and pushes Harrison to sit with him and catch up for a few minutes. Harrison asks if he and his dad were close, and he regales him with the tale of Dexter being the emergency witness at his secret wedding to Maria LaGuerta. They laugh, and Batista begins to grill him. He asks about Iron Lake and why Harrison left so quickly. Harrison says that Dexter wasn't the dad that he expected to find, and once everything blew up, he took off. Batista asks if Harrison ever learned anything about his dad's past. He mentions how his ex-wife Maria thought that he was the Bay Harbor butcher. Harrison is bemused and asks what he's talking about. Batista says that this case has haunted him for years. He says it's safe to tell the truth now that his dad is dead and gone. He inquires again if Harrison knows anything. Harrison smiles cheerfully, standing up with intent. Batista tells him he'll still be in the city a few more days if he wants to talk, passing Harrison his card.
Harrison storms out of the bar, clearly perturbed. He passes Elsa, who jokes that he needs to work on his customer service face some more, but he just brushes past her silently. She turns to look at the bar and sees Batista, badge still out. She storms up to him and tells him that he's crazy if he thinks Harrison has anything to do with Ryan Foster's murder. This is the first Batista is hearing of this and asks her to explain what she's talking about. She explains the body found chopped into 9 pieces, and Batista goes white, hearing the familiar MO of the Bay Harbor butcher. As the evening winds down, Lowell playfully tries to see one of Mia's tattoos, but gets shut down hard. Leon tells him to enjoy the city and tells them there will be many more adventures to come. Ponytail Al suggests that they start a group chat so they can get together and tour Ellis Island. The last to leave, Dexter admits sincerely that he's never been able to share things like he has this evening. Out on the street, Dexter orders a chili dog. On second thought, 2 chili dogs. Turning to eat them as fast as possible, he sees a billboard with Leon's face on it, donating millions of dollars to the NYPD. He ponders Leon's true reason behind all this. Back at his room, Ryan's watch seems to tick louder and louder as he tries to hide it. Appearing to be on the edge of an Edgar Allan Poe-style breakdown, he slams it into a drawer and leaves for Elsa's. She answers the door surprised, and Harrison says he just really needs a friend right now. She lets him in. She and Harrison laugh and eat popcorn watching Drag Race. Harrison gets ready to leave for the evening, not wanting to fall asleep on the train again. Elsa replies that the trains are too unreliable this late and offers to let him sleep on her couch again. He thanks her profusely, and she tells him that he is welcome there anytime. Harrison reaches out to Elsa's face to try to pull her in for a kiss. She balks immediately, trying to explain she understands what he's going through. He calls himself an idiot and hurries away. Dexter continues to quietly stalk Harrison from his car. The disappointment from backseat driver Harry is palpable. He urges Dexter to reconnect with his son and to cut off all this creepy business. Giving him a gentle slap on the forehead, Dexter calls Lowell, and he grumpily answers and agrees to meet and chat about skins later that night. Mia and Dexter go for a jog in Central Park. She tells him that she will answer his questions as long as he can keep up with her. He asks her about her relationship with Leon. She says he's a voyeur and that she's been attending his meetings for 4 years, even though it's not quite her scene. She really enjoys the money. A few people have come and not come back. One got arrested and was found hung in his prison cell the first night, allegedly. But mostly, if you follow the rules, he takes really good care of his pets. Pivoting, they exchange stories of childhood near misses. Relieved to be away from her mother's new boyfriend and thinking her sister was too young for his advances, she returned home from camp to find that that was not true. When she discovered what happened to her sister, she quickly dispatched the problem. Pleased with the intimacy of the moment, Mia invites Dexter home to share some pastries. Back at Mia, she pulls out a box of amazing-looking pastries, then hands him one that's not so amazing-looking, a croissant filled with spinach, and says, "This is the vegan one." Foiled again by his own backstory, he thanks her and takes it, nibbling away. Mia heavily insinuates that he should join her in the shower. He considers it, but chickens out when he realizes he's about to miss his date with Lowell. He shouts that something's come up, and she's deeply shocked and annoyed that he is not getting in the shower with her. Dexter scurries out of her apartment. Dexter meets Lowell at a nearby bar and apologizes for his tardiness and offers to buy them a round of drinks. Lowell says unfortunately he has to go. Today is the day his potential victim is finishing her tattoo, and he wants to harvest it within a few hours. He tells Dexter he loves to talk shop, but this is his alone time. He dismisses himself, and Dexter worries what to do next. Back at the police station, Wallace is poring over Ryan Foster's report while listening to Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult. Just kidding, it's still fucking staying alive. Her partner enters her office and asks if she's still fixated on Harrison Morgan. He says he's seen this behavior from her before with the New York Ripper, and it almost cost her job. He warns her not to let that happen with Harrison. Just then, Batista enters, claiming that they may be able to help each other with their cases. Outside on the street, the freshly tattooed woman dances to the music on her headphones, admiring her new ink. Will turns on his gas mask and prepares to smother the girl with it when he's overwhelmed from behind by Dexter, who forces the mask over his face until he loses consciousness. He gives Lowell's place a quick Dextering and then wakes him with smelling salts. Lowell is shocked to see the man he knows as Red standing over him. He thinks it's bold of him to break Leon's rules on the very first day. Dexter says he's comfortable with his chances. He asks Lowell why he keeps the skins, and he says that they keep him calm, preventing him from murdering even more people. Dexter says he understands. Smashing a painting, he makes a crude blood slide and takes a sample from Lowell's face. Lowell calls it a dumb kind of trophy. Dexter also admits that he isn't Ronald Schmidt, but Dexter Morgan. Seeing the confusion on Lowell's face, he adds, "I'm the Bay Harbor Butcher." Lowell screams as he realizes what's happening, and Dexter plunges the knife into Lowell's chest. Back at the hotel, Harrison runs into Lance, who is not happy to see him. He asks if the truck that Harrison sold him was stolen. Harrison insists that it wasn't. It was his dad's truck. Lance says he better figure out what's going on with the fedora-ass detective that's been following him, pointing out Batista walking over from the bar. Batista invites Harrison to have a cup of coffee with him. At the diner, Batista grills Harrison on Ryan's death, pointing out how strangely it matches the exact MO of his dad's alleged crimes. Harrison continues to play it cool, saying that they hope they find the guy. Batista says it sounds like Ryan was kind of a piece of shit anyway, and probably no great loss. He says he could understand why he did it if he did, but his father's not the same. He'd gotten plenty of innocent people hurt too, including Harrison's mother, Aunt Deb, and Batista's ex-wife, Maria. Harrison refuses to give up anything. Batista grabs Harrison's arm as he leaves and says he hopes he doesn't go down the same path as his father. It's a dark path. Harrison rises and leaves. Ryan's watch ticking loudly in his pocket. Harrison begins to panic. He begins to walk towards the police station, planning to turn himself in, when he is grabbed from behind by his father, telling him not to do that. Harrison is shocked to realize that his dad is alive.
Damn. What an episode.
Yeah. Really great episode.
Yeah.
Really great episode.
You said it was like one of your favorite episodes in the entire Dexterverse,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Damn.
I love the idea of like a hoity-toity high-end serial killer like sleepover party. Like,
I know.
it's just so cool. Like Peter Dinklage's character is so cool and interesting. I cannot wait to find out more about him.
Same.
Yeah, I loved this episode. All of the guest stars were fantastic. I love all of those actors. That my biggest gripe was that there wasn't enough of Blessing and his family.
Yeah, I know.
That's my lone complaint.
I know.
But also, it was like an hour and change long, and I don't know where they would have fit them into that storyline. So
I read today that it was actually the longest episode in Dexter history.
That makes sense.
Yeah, which is impressive to me that they're not like The Walking Dead, who loves to throw in like a couple of 2-hour episodes every season. It's kind of nutty.
Most hour-long shows are only 44 minutes anyway.
Yeah.
So you really feel that extra like 25-30 minutes of playtime.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, at least I did, but I was writing the recap. I was like, what?
No, it really does make a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to point something out that just like it drove me absolutely nuts. And this is Dexter raw dogging the blood slide. Like, what the hell is he thinking?
Doesn't seem like a great plan.
I know. I mean, he just met this guy. Like,
I don't think they could pick up a usable print off of the slides the way that he's handling them.
Yeah.
But it's still like, why take the chance?
Yeah.
Also,
agree.
It's a museum. Don't touch.
Don't touch stuff. I know, exactly. But I'm really fascinated by there are just like there are certain things that Leon has said and certain things about him that make me so fascinated about what his background really is.
Mm-hmm.
And if he is how he's connected to law enforcement, because he did this he's got this upcoming gala for wounded officers, but I'm sure that the police probably do him a lot of favors and he can probably get away with everything because of all of the money that he raises. But I just I feel like both Gareth and Leon, Gareth the Gemini killer, I feel like
Mm-hmm.
both he and Leon could possibly have some connection to Dexter.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That
Um
makes sense.
I like I said earlier in the intro, I mean, what David Desmalchian said about Gareth knowing the weaknesses of the Bay Harbor Butcher,
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't know the weaknesses of James Dokes. James Dokes isn't alive anymore.
Yeah.
That
Mm.
sentence means he absolutely knows who Dexter
I hope that
Dexter
doesn't
is.
mean Aster and Cody, because I'll cry.
That's what I was thinking. I feel like Harrison isn't going anywhere,
Yeah.
but Aster and Cody have been noticeably absent. I mean, in mentions and everything. At least Hannah and Rita have been mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
But Aster and Cody, there's been no mention of them whatsoever. So I'm wondering, because like what a lot of shows will like to do is they'll like to create an absence of a character so that people aren't thinking about them
Mm-hmm.
because they're preparing for something shocking.
That would be
And
pretty damn shocking.
I know. I'm
Ooh.
just oh, God, that would be awful if Gareth decides to go after Aster and Cody. I think it could happen. I really
Nope.
do.
I do
And
that. Honestly, that would be thrilling, but I would hate it. Leave those kids alone.
I know. I'm hoping that they're well adjusted and leading good lives and
Mm-hmm.
and are close with each other. And I would love to see Harrison reunite with them before Gemini goes
Yeah.
after him.
I've been thinking since New Blood how strange it is that he gave Harrison to Hannah instead of Rita's parents. Like those are his blood grandmother and grandfather and siblings, like they're half, but still like they're his blood relatives. And he's like, let me give you to this woman who I know poisons people and I've
Well,
known for like a couple
because
months.
he was genuinely planning at
Yeah.
first on going to Argentina
Yeah.
with them before he decided that he was just gonna drive into a hurricane and kill himself unsuccessfully. But yeah.
You turn on My Chemical Romance really loud and drive into the store.
But yeah, I would love to see Aster and Cody
Yeah, me
again
too.
before Gemini decides to do them in. That would oh god, that would suck. But I mean, Dexter's identity. I'm pretty sure Gemini already knows. How Gemini knows, I have no idea. But I don't think Leon knew at first, but I think he might know now. Like, just
Yeah.
it has to do with like what he said about when he showed him the ice truck killer's table. He didn't
Yeah.
talk about like this is the table where his victims died. where he bled out his victims, he talked about, this is the table where the ice truck killer killed himself. And sorry, I keep hitting my mic. And he mentioned, maybe if Brian had somebody to talk to that was like him, he'd still be here with us. That's super sus to me.
That was a red flag to me. And also the scene where Dexter is talking, he goes back in the other room to talk to Harry. And like when they're coming, like Leon sees him standing alone, kind of talking to himself, and just kind of gives like a smirk almost, like,
yeah.
And he definitely clocked something there, and like, unless I'm reading too much into it, but it definitely seems like he was like picking something up from that situation. And yeah,
I need to go back and watch that scene, but I think I know what you're talking about.
I put it even in the notes because it stuck out to me so much. I was like, there's got to be something up with that.
Yeah. I also wanted to point out that there is, drawing more connections between Dexter and Gareth, Gemini killer. Okay, first of all, Gareth was eyeing him hard during the party.
Yeah.
There were several glances. This was just one of them, but he was staring at him pretty hard throughout the dinner party. Then there is right here, we see that he's got Gemini and the Dark Passenger together.
Yeah. Dang, I didn't even notice that at first.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could see these photos better to see what is contained in them.
Mm-hmm.
But I did read before the season started that he's called the Gemini killer because he goes after pairs, like relatives or twins,
mm-hmm.
or so that definitely made me think of Asher and Cody. If he's going around killing twins, though, it also makes me think that Rapunzel, his family could possibly be in trouble because these girls look like they might be twins.
Doesn't this look like a Duggar family photo? That's it. That's all I could see is like it looks exactly like that one picture they use for the like 16 and counting or whatever horrific number of children that woman is
19. Ugh. So they need 15 more kids.
Like, no judgment, but get off of her. She's not a labradoodle. She shouldn't be having that many kids.
Yeah.
That sounds
no kidding.
horrific.
No kidding. Well, that family's got all kinds of fucked up shit going on. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting though. Like, if he's going around killing twins, and we've got a serial killer who looks like he may have twins, that's quite interesting. And it also makes me think that when Dexter killed Lowell, I was like, they've got all these events planned over the next 2 weeks. Leon said, "What's if he's going to go after everybody? That's going to look super sus."
Yeah,
but I'm now thinking that maybe Gemini will go after Rapunzel's twins, not even necessarily knowing that they're his kids. And everything will, all of the Dark Passengers, the original Dark Passengers' death and Lowell's death, maybe will somehow get blamed on Gemini. Because I think that Dexter and Leon are going to end up working together. I think they're going to have some sort of partnership.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'd like to see that.
I could see them working out well together because they know each other's secrets. He likes to, like, the way that Mia put it, he likes to collect things, including people.
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely think that when the Canton Clubber died, he got a lot of satisfaction out of that because he got to own the club.
Yeah,
So I'm not
definitely.
sure he really cares if these people start dropping off.
It was both like a look at what I have, and also I'll kill you, like at
Yes.
the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't really think that he cares all that much about their lives. I think
Yeah.
he'd probably rather have the trophies. So if Dexter is like helping him stalk serial killers and killing them and bringing him the trophies, I mean, I think that would make for a pretty good partnership, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Leon doesn't fit the code. He's not instructing any of the kills. Um he won't even take requests as we saw in the other episode. Like a request gets you killed. So, I mean, his hands are pretty clean. He basically just looks the other way. Um and harbors serial killers, but I could see him and Dexter working really well together.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I really love the pairing of Peter Dinklage and Uma Thurman,
Yeah.
and they're like the two of them like play really well off of each other. I'm wondering if maybe something doesn't happen to Charlie and he asks Dexter to replace her. Because,
Yeah.
girl, you know that quote is high, but still. Has Uma Thurman ever done a television show?
I don't think she
I
has.
don't think so either.
Yeah.
But loving her. Loving and this serial killer like club side story I am 100% in on. I love all of the actors. I think it's
Same.
like a really interesting like corner to explore. Yeah.
I love Rapunzel, like, wanting
Yeah.
to set up a tour of Ellis Island.
I love Eric Stone Street. I mean we haven't seen anything yet, but I'm hoping we get to see some more like dramatic, like terrifying stuff from him because he's been in horror movies. He's been scary, but like
Yeah.
this character is like a little too close to his Modern Family character for me. Like he's just too like chummy and sweet, and I want to see. I'm excited to see his dark side if we get there.
He was in American Horror Story. I just realized
Yeah,
that.
I think
Yeah.
the first season or the second
Yeah.
season. Yeah,
Yeah, he was the guy in the bathroom that was like, I think he was a patient of what's his name's.
yeah,
Um
yeah.
yeah, and he was afraid of that there was a guy in a pig mask be in his shower or something,
Mhm.
and then surprise, a guy in a pig mask ends up killing
How did you know?
him. Poor guy.
Yeah.
I
I
think
love
I
Eric
want to
Stone
say he was
Street
in a
though.
later. I think
What'd
he
you
might have
say?
been in a later episode. Was he in Asylum too?
I didn't see Asylum,
Oh, you
so
didn't. Okay, gotcha. Um, so who are you putting on the kill table this week?
um uh Lol's wig is
Not
going on
Lowell,
the
just
kill
the wig.
table. Yeah.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
so bad. It looks so bad on him. Like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah,
what
I
you're
hear ya.
saying, it looks like Michael C. Hall's, they pulled it out of storage from his season 5 wig and just like shook it out and put it on.
I think they might have. It looks just like it.
It really does. That's not.
Yeah.
Neil Patrick Harris is so handsome. I don't know. Maybe he has like a weird haircut or something for a different role since he's only in this one episode as far as we know. Um
Maybe.
and they just like threw a wig on instead of trying to like, do anything else, but I'm not a fan of it. Looks real
Yeah.
unnatural.
Yeah, it does look just like Michael C. Hall's season 5 wig.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who don't know, Michael C. Hall was battling cancer during season 5, and he was undergoing radiation at the time, so he had lost all of his hair. And I think actually in season 5 with season 5 he was done with radiation when they started filming, but like he hadn't started growing his hair back. So he had to wear a wig for pretty much the entire season. And it looked a little rough, which just drove me nuts because I'm like, the star of your show is battling cancer and you can't give him a better wig.
Right? That's when Steve started watching it with me. So I was just like complaining about the wig all season, and he didn't know what I was talking about until we got to season 6, and then he was like, "Whoa, okay, now I see."
Yeah, seriously. Like there were times in season 5 when it looked okay, but oh man, there were times when it looked really rough.
Yeah. Even in the finale period, he just looks so tired and like I can't imagine shooting a show like this while battling like getting like treating cancer. I can't think of what I was trying to say, but yeah, like how it's shooting TV is hard, especially when you're the lead of a show like this. Like you're in almost every scene. Props to Michael C. Hall for like not taking a furlough or something, because
yeah, seriously.
yeah, that's insane. It's a minimum of a 12-hour day.
If I remember correctly, so he was diagnosed during season 4, and he didn't tell anybody. He kept it a secret. And if I remember correctly, he came out with it because he was nominated for a Golden Globe for Dexter, and he went to the Golden Globes, and his eyebrows were gone. He was wearing a black cap over his head. And I think that right before that is when he announced it, because he didn't want everyone freaking out when they saw him.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he did win that year. But yeah, I think that like he kept it a secret for as long as he could. So I don't know, but I mean, who knows? Maybe maybe wardrobe, hair and makeup, whatever, didn't have enough time to get a better wig. I don't know, but
it's
yeah,
a weird one. It's a weird call.
Yeah, for sure. So okay, so you're putting Lowell's wig on the kill table. I think that's an excellent choice. Hopefully it will, because I swear to God, it really does look like his old wig, and I hope to never see that thing again. I am this week I'm putting on the kill table. I like to not put the obvious ones like Lowell. I'm gonna go with Elsa for just giving Batista like this ridiculous amount of information.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't even know anybody died.
Who walks up to a cop and just starts saying, "You don't know anything about this murder"? Like, such a rookie move. Like,
yeah,
I'm assuming she's lived in New York her whole life and would know better than to do something like that. But
yeah, I know.
It's crazy.
There was I saw an interview recently with Jack Alcott and Jamie Chung, and he was talking about how he's been good friends with the actress that plays Elsa for years. And he knew that she had auditioned for New Blood, and but they hadn't really talked about it a lot. All right, not New Blood, Resurrection, I mean.
Resurrection.
And they let him tell her that she got the part.
Oh.
So the way that he tried to do it, he called her up and he was like, "Hey, can you come over and help me run lines for this project I'm doing?" And she just immediately got suspicious. And she just started asking a million questions, and he was being really evasive. And then finally, she's like, "I got the part, didn't I?" He's like, "Yeah, you got it." So I thought that was really
awesome.
cute. Forgive me, I'm popping in another cough drop because I feel
You're good.
hacking coming on. So yeah, but Elsa, yeah, first of all, she told him there was a murder, that he was chopped up and put into trash bags. I mean, girl, what are you thinking?
She just handed him Harrison on a golden platter. Like,
Yeah.
I know she doesn't get it. I know she doesn't know what, how would she know Batista wasn't one of the cops that's already been bothering him? But yeah, not the best move, babe.
No, not at all. Not at all. We like you, Elsa. Don't make us put
I
you on the
do.
kill
I like
table.
Elsa a lot.
Yeah. I don't want to have to put her on the kill table again. Hopefully she avoids Rapunzel because she wears her hair in a ponytail for work. So
Rapunzel is such a funny serial killer name.
I know. I prefer calling him Rapunzel because it just works with this.
Rapunzel, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the ponytail guy.
I know. So who is your who's getting your Saint Rita award?
Saint Rita is gonna be Mia in this episode. I just really appreciated her like taking Dexter under her wing in this like weird and new situation, and like, sticking by him and trying to talk him through the like, other than being like a bit of a wine douche. I'm a wine snob, but I keep it to myself.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit there and be like, "You're drinking your wine wrong." Like, that's ugh. But other than that, I really enjoyed her character. I think it's really interesting. I love Kristen Ritter. I'm really excited to see where they go with her. But yeah, I thought it was really sweet. Like, she was just like, "Oh, duckling out of water. I'll take care of you."
Yeah, I appreciated that. Yeah, she didn't go too hard on him when he started chugging the wine. She could have been a lot harder on him. But
yeah, it's true.
I am giving my Saint Rita award to Charlie just for like being on the ball, and when Dexter was about to get in the back seat, she's like, "The fuck you are."
No thanks. Like,
I'm packing, buddy. You're riding shotgun. I don't think so.
You may have missed Kill Bill episodes 1 or 2, but you do not want to get back there.
Yeah. I'm loving all of her disgusted looks. Like, I just
even her Bob is disgusted. Like,
what's up?
I said, even her Bob is disgusted.
Yeah.
Like,
her Bob is disgusted.
She's just like constantly frowning.
Oh my gosh. I love it. I just like, we know nothing about her other than she works with Leon. But like, I want to know more. I just like, I cannot get enough of her facial expressions. They're just fantastic.
I'm loving her in this series so far.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go to our bottom 5, shall we? What is your what's your bottom 5?
My bottom 5, my worst. Yeah, my number 5 is the lack of the Chimera family in this episode. I know I already talked about that, but I want more. Even what we got, just the shot of him watching them be a normal family through the window was so sweet.
Yeah.
I really love those characters, and I want to see more of them spending time with Dexter and get more of their backstory, because it seems really interesting to me. And they're also well cast. They're just beautiful like sweet people that I want to see more of.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. By the way, in case you missed it, on Instagram, Ntare Gumam Bahom Wihe gave us the most incredible shout out ever.
It was really cool.
Like, did a full-on reaction video to our clip of giving him the Saint Rita award. It was amazing. Just what a gem of a guy.
If you're out there, it probably won't be the only time, bud.
Yeah, exactly. I was slightly embarrassed when he did it because I knew that the next clip that was coming, because it was already prepared and ready to go, was one of my top fives. Him, and it was Blessing and Joy. So I'm like, oh my god, this guy's like gonna think we're obsessed with him. But he's great. I love him and the whole family. They're fantastic.
Thank you for watching. It means a lot.
My number 5 is goddamn Staying Alive Again.
That is also on my list, but higher.
Yeah. She needs to start listening to Bambaleo. Like, Always Sunny reference.
Like a Guns N' Roses, or just anything else, like just that one side.
Yeah. I don't want to hear it anymore. I really don't want to hear it anymore. Unless like someone's given someone CPR, I don't want to hear it anymore. Please. Oh my god.
Did you see the new episode of Sunny where they're trying to become EMTs and Dennis is compressing to Bambaleo instead?
Bambaleo.
Yeah.
Start listening to Bambaleo, Claudette. Or something else, something different.
Make your detective powers go faster because it's a smoother beat.
Yeah, exactly. Or there's one song by the band Lard called I Want to Be a Drug Sniffing Dog. And it's such a great song. And I used to put that on a lot of my playlists. And back when I was a gym rat before my car accident, like I would just shuffle my playlists around and not really like give a lot of care to what I was listening to. And it was hilarious because I would be like on the elliptical or something and that song would come on and I would freak the fuck out because it's so fast paced. I'm like trying to keep up with it. And I'm about ready to pass out. It's kind of funny. But by the way, 9 Inch Nails, best workout music.
I do murder podcasts. It motivates me to get away from my murderers.
I hear ya. What is your number 4?
My number 4 was Elsa talking to Batista. I know we already went over it in the episode pretty much, but it just seemed like such a rookie move for someone who's lived in New York all their lives. And everyone knows you don't just start saying things to the police. Like, that's not how it works.
Yeah. Seriously. My number 4 is Dexter jogging. Like, dude, no, I'm sorry. The acupuncture, it is not going to get you back in
3 needles.
Like, you should be winded after trying to jog for 2 seconds.
Right.
Like, I was in the hospital with pulmonary contusions after my car accident, and the hell that I went through from just pulmonary contusions, okay? It was horrific. This guy had a hole blown through his chest. No.
He died on the table for a little while. Like,
yeah. He is not going to be jogging. I'm sorry.
And it's still only like 4 days later, 5 days that he's gotten out. Like,
Yeah.
he's not been awake
Or
for
no,
very long.
it's been about 3 weeks actually, because he said I think it was the episode that he met Blessing in. I think he said he had been in the city for a couple of weeks already. So yeah, he's been it's been a few weeks. But yeah, it's just no. I mean, I realized that, he had some time to heal while he was in his coma, but he also like had a lot of muscle atrophy. But we already talked about that. I could go down a huge rabbit hole with that. But yeah, Dexter just should not be jogging. It just really bugged me. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is how did Harry slap Dexter? Like, what are the rules to this like waking dream ghost that you like? What like is there a Jiminy Cricket handbook that explains how these interactions work? Because that made no sense to me. How, like, I know, I mean it's all in Dexter's head.
Yeah.
So maybe he's just, but he like, it made noise. That bothered me the rest of the day. I was like, how did he get slapped by a ghost?
Yeah. No, there are a bunch of moments like that in the episode of Dexter in season 5. It is season 5, because it's right before Rita's funeral, where he was on that road trip with Brian Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a whole bunch of moments like that where you're like, is Brian a ghost or is he actually there? Because things are happening that like,
why can he move things?
Yeah, he definitely did. Okay, my number 3. Oh my God, that sad looking plate of vegetables.
Yeah, that's on my list too.
You could do so much better, Leon. Seriously. My God. I mean, okay, look at those turnips.
Yeah, there's no, like, is there a speck of salt or pepper on this plate anywhere? Like,
no, there's nothing.
Cruel.
It's just like roasted cauliflower and turnips in a sweet
doesn't
potato
even look
puree.
cooked. It's just like browned. Like,
yeah,
it does not look good.
It looks awful. Like, no. and let's just this facial expression. Dexter's reaction to everybody eating lamb chops.
Yeah.
And he's got this sad, pathetic plate of vegetables. I'm loving the whole vegan thing. It's hilarious.
We've both been vegan or vegetarian at different points in our lives. And like, there's such a plethora of things. Like, you couldn't have put some cashews on that, John. Like you couldn't have. There's no protein to that. There's no, like, it's not a substantive meal. Like, you would have to eat 3 or 4 plates of that to even feel full. And I can't imagine wolfing down that much unseasoned cauliflower.
Yeah. I get some portobello mushrooms in there, for God's sake. I mean, my God, portobello Wellington, portobello Napoleon, a vegetarian Napoleon. I mean, just like anything other than that. I mean, that's so sad.
We don't have to go into that more, because that's my number 2. So,
all right. What else do you have to say about it?
Just lump that together.
All right. Do you have any other comments then about the pathetic plate of vegetables?
I do not. I don't understand how that would be served at such a, like, luxurious high-end dinner party.
Yeah.
it just seems odd that they didn't consider. He's the only vegan guest. They could have gone all out, you know. Bummer.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I would rather, like, the cauliflower doesn't look too bad. It looks like it's been roasted. It doesn't really look like it's got any flavoring on it,
It's
but
medium rare at best.
yeah, but it might be okay.
I
But
love cauliflower too. I love a cauliflower
yeah,
steak, but you're not going to serve me just a cauliflower steak when everyone else is having a real steak. That's
yeah. I mean, honestly, like, I eat I'm not a vegetarian, but I eat vegetarian most of the time because my husband is. And honestly, like, he prefers to do most of the cooking. And I had to go on my own for dinner the other night, and I could have prepared something more, but I settled instead for a banana and some yogurt. And I
girl
would honestly,
dinner.
I'd rather have a banana and some lemon yogurt rather than that sad plate of vegetables. It's terrible.
You notice that, like, he eats every bite of that, and he looks so miserable.
Yeah. Well, he loves to eat, so he'll probably eat whatever you put in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he
And
had
then him like
that
wolfing down the chili dogs after.
yes. And then he
Incredible.
had to deal with that sad pastry. He's got to tell them that he gave up veganism.
Yeah.
It was a passing fad.
That pastry was not good looking.
Yeah. But okay, so my number 2 is, we already talked about it, but it's Elsa filling in Angel, like, just handing, like you said, handing Harrison over on a silver platter. Just so unnecessary. Just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. What's your number 1?
My number 1 is, what is Batista doing? Is he not retired? Like,
no idea.
I don't understand what he's doing, because I assumed when they, he went back to Miami. He told all his friends he was retiring.
Yeah.
And then he took off. I'm assuming he's done being a cop, right? Like,
you would think he would have to be back in Miami to work.
Exactly. It's not his jurisdiction.
Yeah.
And he's lying to Harrison about his dad still being dead. So would any of the material, any of the evidence that he gathered even be admissible in court? Because, like, if you're entrapping someone, like I mean, he's upfront about the fact that he's a cop, but is he even a cop anymore? Does he have the right to be pursuing this case?
I don't know, man. I've seen a popular theory going around. So there is a soundbite that I've heard frequently in, like, some of the Dexter Resurrection previews that we have not heard on the show yet. And it's Dexter saying, "If I am who you think I am, then this can't end well for you." And for some reason, a lot of people are thinking that he's saying that to Angel, but that doesn't make much sense to me. I actually think he's talking to Gemini. Either Gemini or Leon when he says that. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know what Angel's doing.
Yeah, I found that so weird.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so my number 1 is just a big gripe that I have with the Dexterverse overall, and it came up in this episode, and it just makes me cringe every single time. When Angel was rattling off the innocent people that Dexter got killed, of course he throws Deb in there.
Yeah.
Dexter had nothing to do with Deborah's death.
That was not his fault.
No. I do blame him for Rita and Maria's deaths. he had nothing to do with Deborah.
It's weird because he didn't actually kill any of those three people.
Right.
But
Right.
they Rita and Maria, he's responsible for their deaths for sure. But like, yeah, Deb. That's the second time Deb got shot too. Like, there's nothing he could have done to save her. He couldn't have stopped her from going after that guy.
Yeah, and she was fine. She just had a stroke during surgery. Like, he had nothing to do with her death, and I don't know why they keep feeding us this narrative. I think because they want him to be tortured over, like, you know, over feeling guilt. I mean, he does have a lot to feel guilty over regarding her.
For sure. I mean,
like, he completely destroyed her life. But
made her go crazy.
Yeah. I mean, he made her basically resort to trying to kill herself and him. Mm-hmm. But he had nothing to do with her actual death. And I wish they would stop feeding us that. It's so annoying. Okay, so top fives. What's your number 5?
My number 5. Sorry, can we pause for 1 second?
Yeah.
Sorry, I need.
Okay, so what's your number 5?
My number 5 was I really liked the murder date that Mia and Dexter went on. I love that he's like trying to find, like, he's like, oh, she has a code. Oh, luckily he's so into that so quickly. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work out or anything, but I like them as a pairing. I love Kristen Ritter.
Yeah,
she's such a great actress, and they work really well together.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't like at first that they seem to be going down that route. Mm-hmm. It just immediately annoys me anytime Dexter gets with anybody. It made sense.
They opened this series saying that he's asexual and not into women, and they like let that go like episode 3.
Well, that made sense though, because Rita was just a beard, but then he ended up genuinely falling for her. Mm-hmm. Lumen made sense because it was like they were both going through traumas that kind of related to each other's, and it was codependent in a very realistic way, and it worked. Hannah, fuck no. But like, I just
that, but that made she's pretty, so you're gonna break the code, like,
right?
But she's so blonde.
She's so blonde. I mean, it's about Strahovski. I might break the code for her. I don't know.
I mean, I get it, but
but yeah, I immediately got annoyed. But then I was like, wait a minute, this could actually work here. Mm-hmm. And they're both vigilantes. But what's funny is that she doesn't think he's a vigilante. She doesn't know he's a vigilante type killer. She thinks he's killing innocents, and he has to keep that secret because he's supposed to be the dark passenger. So, which is the opposite of everything he's ever done before. So he's this guy who only kills bad people, but he's got to pretend with her like he kills innocent rideshare drivers, which is kind of funny.
Those people.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right. My number 5 was just like I like the little reminders of the original series. And today in this episode we got a mention of Jamie. And I liked that a lot because I loved Jamie. I really liked her. And I loved how Harrison lit up when
Yeah,
he
that was
mentioned her
really
name.
cute. Him
Yeah.
talking about the red train.
Yeah. He was like,
Cute.
Jamie, she used to read the hell out of a bedtime story. I thought that was great. Yeah, I just really liked that. And it's cool to hear that she's a middle school principal
Yeah.
now.
She's basically the only woman in the series that didn't get fridged, so
Yeah,
I'm
true.
happy to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is just I kind of already went through it, but the idea of this like serial killer club existing is so cool. Like I love the concept. I'm really excited to see where it's going. We talked about this already, but I'm surprised they killed off Neil Patrick Harris so early. Although he's probably like the highest quote out of those people, so I get like wanting to use him and not having time to do the whole show or whatever. But like what a great set of actors that they picked for this, like really
Yeah.
really cool, well casted, interesting. I'm really caught up in that whole side of the story.
Yeah, yeah, I am too. I'm really enjoying it. It's going to be interesting when they realize that Lowell is gone, has just up and
Mm-hmm.
disappeared. And I'm pretty sure that Gemini and Leon already know who Dexter actually is. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this
Mm-hmm.
pans out.
Absolutely.
Um my where was I going here? That was your number 4. My number 4 is Leon and Charlie in general. I just think they're a fun duo. There's so much mystery, but not in an annoying
Mm-hmm.
way where you're like they're not giving us enough. Like we're eager. We're actually eager to know more about them.
I love that she's like giant, strong, and silent, and he's like small and quick and funny. It's
Yeah.
just a good pairing, like visually, like chemistry wise. They work great together.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I absolutely love his reaction when Dexter was like, hinting or basically asking him, are you like me? And the way he giggled, like he put his hands over his
Yeah.
face. It's so funny. It's hilarious. I loved it. um, what is your number 3?
Um, my number 3 is going to be the Harrison and Elsa's relationship. It kind of fell apart there at the end of the episode, but like they both, it's so clear they both like sincerely and genuinely care about each other and are like into it. And obviously I don't know like what's going on with her and why she's like not actively pursuing him, but they're so cute together. I
Yeah.
really like both actors. I love that she's like always looking out for him.
Yeah.
I hope they work things out.
Yeah, I do too. I do too.
Turns out she's a serial killer too, and then everything will
Oh
be
god,
fine.
that would be hilarious.
I
Oh
also
man.
love that he takes care. Like he likes taking care of her kid. And that's not a deal breaker for him. He's so young.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, yeah, it's cool. And you know what else I like? I like the reminder, we hear him speaking Spanish with her every once in a while. And
mm-hmm.
I like the reminder that, obviously he would be fluent in Spanish because he grew up in Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I I like that. I like that a lot. Um my this is number 3, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My number 3 is the cinematography and the use of color in
Yes.
this episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's just beautiful. It was so reminiscent of the original Dexter.
So
Like,
well shot.
I know. I love these shots. Um, like especially this one of Neil Patrick Harris, his character on the kill table. And
gave him a lot more saran wrap than they usually.
I just realized that.
He's like cocooned.
Yeah, that's really interesting. They did not use that much on the original show.
Mm-mm.
That's a shit ton. There's another really great shot that I love of Dexter and Charlie in the elevator, and it doesn't look right on our screen here, but it basically was bright red. Like it's just a bright red light, and the way that she's looking at him and he's looking at his reflection, it almost looks like, and because of the red color, it almost looks like she's the devil on his shoulder. But it's, you wouldn't think that that's the case because Dexter's a serial killer and she seems like she's somebody who's disgusted with serial killers. But it's kind of interesting. But she was also introduced to the song Red Right Hand by Nick Cave. But yeah, I think that's such a cool shot. And there's another great shot of Dexter looking at his reflection in the mirror, looking terrified.
Look at that bob. Immaculate.
Yeah. Super fun. Like the set design was fantastic. I mean, I love this room with the Statue of Liberty replica in the middle. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Just absolutely incredible cinematography and just amazing. So yeah, that's my number 3. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is a bit of an outlier for me because I have generally not enjoyed the use of Harry in the show as his, like, I keep calling him his Jiminy Cricket because that's literally what he is. But I really liked the use of Harry in this episode, especially him not being able to be in the room with the other character. Yeah, right here. Him staring through the frosted glass, like, observing still, but he's not able to be in there. Like, it's not, those aren't his people. That's not his, he's very uncomfortable with what's happening. And other than the slap, which I thought was a really weird choice, but also the bit about him telling Dexter, I also taught you not to play with your food, I thought was really funny.
Yeah.
I love this. The show's made me love James Remar because I only knew him from Sex and the City before this.
Yeah, and, Richard Wright.
Yeah, he's great in this show, and this is my favorite use of him I've seen in the Dexterverse so far. It was really, like, I love that he had to get up and leave all the other serial killers to go talk to his conscience.
Yeah. Well, Michael C. Hall mentioned that they're entering a phase. Dexter and Ghost Harry are entering what is probably the most antagonistic phase of their relationship. So that's kind of interesting, and also that they're more peers now.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I really feel like it's interesting because when we last saw Dexter, he had done something like worse than he probably ever had before in killing Logan. I mean, that was like, the peak of his fuck ups. And I feel like this Dexter is trying to be the best version of himself that he can be, possibly. I just kind of get that feeling. But he's also completely irresponsible when he starts caring about people, and that's ultimately what led him to kill Logan. So I mean, it's just it's going to get messy.
I mean, he could have taken him to therapy at any point.
Exactly.
He apparently even had a therapist that understood the situation, so why not take him to her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, just a reminder that the second rule of the code is don't kill an innocent, but the first rule of the code is don't get caught.
Yeah.
So that's always going to come first, which is why I don't think Angel's gonna make it. Which,
yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping Dexter doesn't kill him. I really do, but I feel like I'm hoping that maybe somebody else will step in. I don't know, but I mean, I can't imagine Dexter killing Angel. That would be.
I can't either. I would be unhappy.
Yeah, that would be rough. That would be super rough.
Yeah.
Um, so my number 2 is basically just everything about the party and Leon's vault. I mean, it was great to see like the ice shark killer's table. You know, we even got a flashback of when Dexter killed him. All the crazy serial killer memorabilia that he has, including Trinity's hammer. And Leon also knew that Trinity killed in
force. Yeah. Was that information ever disclosed to anyone?
I
Like,
don't think it was.
yeah.
I don't think it was. So he's got connections.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. That's my number 1. So.
Yeah. It's I mean, like everything about it was just so great and so much fun. Except for this like ratty ass looking thing.
That looked really bad. I was not into that.
Yeah, the tattoo collector could do a better job.
It's so hard already to make tattoos look good on TV, and I actually just let people have their tattoos and shit. Like, everybody's got tattoos now, but
yeah,
it's such a weird. It looks so weird and bad. I don't know like insult to the art department, because the art department on the show is amazing. That's my number 1 is the vault experience. Like, every moment of that was so cool. Like the secret sliding wine cellar door, and the big vault door, and the whole layout of like all of the different pieces and things that he had. It was so neat. And
he had Ed Gein's lamp.
Yeah. Like, Charles Manson's guitar, Jeffrey Dahmer's fridge. Like, that was really, really cool. I'm sure the art department had an amazing time setting that up. They're what an amazing job. What a cool setting Leon's place is. Like, I'm loving it.
Now, okay, before I go into my number 1, I want to ask you. So I've got a couple of Chekhov's items here that I'm wondering if they're just like fun little things that you think were thrown into the script, or if they're actually going to be revisited at some point. First off is the Tyler Day driver's license. That was significant because he mentioned that it was his first.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact that we got his name and such a focus on his driver's license, do you think this is a Chekhov's driver's license, or do you think it was just to establish that this was his first victim?
I think it's more about him putting it there with the gloves on.
Yeah.
And not touching anything than it is about the actual license itself. Because he doesn't touch anything in the whole episode other than his own, like, utensils, I assume. We don't see him eat.
Yeah.
But we see him very often handling things with, like, a towel or, the corner of a glove or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
But it may come back.
What about the pig farmer? Do you think that's a Chekhov's pig farmer or just a fun little thing to throw into the conversation?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's I don't think that's anything. I think they're just pointing out that there is a meeting of serial killers that has happened in like the real world. And yeah, like just something to like give more flavor to their reference, but it would be interesting to see. I don't think Dexter would be down for ritualistic orgies.
Oh God, no, definitely. I can't imagine that at all. Now, what about where did it go here? It's flight attendant killer. That's the ponytail guy. It's Charles Manson. Maybe I don't have it. New York Ripper came up twice.
Yeah.
In this episode.
Yeah.
Because he had the New York Ripper trophies in the vault. Mm-hmm. And then Oliva mentioned that Claudette worked on the New York Ripper case.
And almost lost her job for being too hyper-focused on one.
Yeah.
Subject. Yeah.
Do you think that was just a convenient way of linking the two things together? Or do you think that the New York Ripper is going to somehow come back into play? And like maybe the New York Ripper was never caught and is actually a character that
would be cool. It's Leon.
New York Ripper's blessing.
It would be a surprise. Yeah. He cuts their Achilles tendon and waits till they fall down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They have brought him up. They have brought up that character a lot.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if there was something. Maybe they set him up to be the villain next season, or
maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't really like insinuate as to whether or not they were ever caught.
They say he was never caught.
Oh, they did say he was never caught. Okay. Oh. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I just hope it's not Blessing.
I know. No, I can't do it.
What if it's Constance?
Nah.
That would be crazy.
There's like 2 black serial killers.
Serial killers are never black.
I know.
They're always white.
They're almost never women either. It's pretty rare.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't really have any other white. New York Rippers, Oliva.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Or it was Quinn when he was like going up to New York on his weekends, because I mean that's like where he's from, right? The accent. I mean,
That's
it could be Quinn. That would be super interesting. What if it was Quinn and Dexter found out, and Quinn found out that Angel was pursuing Dexter, and they were like threatening to sell the other out, and so Quinn ends up killing Angel.
Interesting. I don't think Quinn's smart enough to be a serial killer who
doesn't. I don't think so either. I don't think. What if it's
so
Cody?
Bad at everything he does?
What if it's Cody? What if Cody's living in New York now and it's the New York Ripper?
The new New York Ripper, like son of the New York Ripper, maybe.
Yeah,
that would be interesting.
Yeah, yeah, that would be super.
He's murdering people in diapers.
If you have any fun ideas of who you think the New York Ripper could be, let us know, because I think it could be a somebody that we already know.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I think that's going to be revisited because I either didn't remember or I didn't catch that it was said that he was never caught. So, yeah, I think it'll come back
That it
up.
was Charlie.
That would be interesting. If the New York, wait a minute. Okay, so Charlie's blonde. What if the New York Ripper killed serial killers? She's totally
She'll have to date Dexter because they both have a code.
Exactly. she'd be essentially Dexter's soulmate. She's a blonde who kills killers.
I'm into that fan theory.
Yeah, and then he and Dexter and Charlie and Leon can be this like nice little happy family. Oh my gosh. Okay, what's your, you said that was your, yeah.
Yeah,
we went
my number one was
two to your number one. Pretty much, right?
Yeah, they're the same.
Okay. So my number one is, this has kind of been going on since the beginning of the show, but it was there was a lot of it in this episode, and that's the parallels. I'm really digging it. Harrison trying to kiss Elsa and getting shot down reminded me so much of Dexter and Rita in season 1 in the car when he was all like excited about the chopped up body with no blood, and then he like felt up her thigh and she's like, I'm not ready for this, and she got out of the car and he's like, why did I do that? That reminded me a lot of it, like,
yeah,
the fact that Elsa has a kid and that Harrison's really good with, and Elsa giving Harrison shit for not smiling, which is something that like we saw a lot with Dexter. And also just kind of the similarities between the other serial killers and Dexter. I mean, the Dark Passenger, both the Dark Passenger and Lowell kind of look like Dexter. But Lowell has a medical background. Dexter never worked in the medical field, but he was pre-med. He was supposed to go to med school. If you haven't watched the prequel, then you're probably getting ready to correct me and say, no, he did go to med school, but for some reason the prequel retconned that. I don't know why, but he just went straight from pre-med to working at Miami Metro now. So
weird.
Yeah, I know. It's a weird thing to retcon. But Lady Vengeance is a vigilante. Rapunzel is a family man. Gemini's a creep motherfucker. I mean, it's like
the gang's all here.
Yeah. And there's, there were a lot of reminders. There's been a lot of reminders of the privilege that Dexter grew up with as opposed to Brian. And in the prequel, that's examined heavily, and it's just like, it's really sad.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Dexter and Brian went through the same thing. Brian had to remember it.
Yeah.
And he didn't have the family.
Not only does he have to remember it, but he lost his little brother.
He lost his little brother.
Has to go like through the foster system. Like, it's so sad. Like,
there's an episode in Original Sin that is entirely devoted to Brian.
Ooh.
And in fact, it's like he even does some of the narration and stuff. And it's really sad. Like, you find out some other really shitty things that happened to him. Like when he was hospitalized, and like, just Dexter, between the two of them, he really got lucky.
Yeah.
And there have been other instances along the way too, where and Harrison too, like, Harrison had a fucked up childhood, and he got abandoned by his dad, although I think that I think Dexter had a good reason for that. I mean, but it still sucks. Um, it's there's Dexter is I like being reminded of the privilege that he had as opposed to like Harrison and Brian and some others like Jeremy Downs, is another example. Nobody was there for him to help him figure things out.
Nia's story about being assaulted by her
Yeah.
stepfather and then finding out he was also assaulting her younger sister, like, that's horrific. Like,
Yeah, and the story she said about like the horrible thing that she did to that kid, and her mom basically said, "Don't be so angry," instead of getting her therapy. Like,
evil.
yeah, I mean, Dexter grew up with a lot of privilege and having a semi-normal family that loved and supported him. So yeah, I'm seeing a lot of parallels in this show, and I'm really digging it. So that's my number one. But do you have anything else to add before we skedaddle on out?
There's one last thing I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Because it killed me. First of all, the idea of Neil Patrick Harris's character walking around with a tank of gas, like he's on the street in New York, like no one's gonna see you put a gas mask over this girl's face. Like, what an insane choice.
I know.
For him to be like a successful multi-time like serial killer and getting away with it. Just like it's so bizarre and funny, and like having it turned around on him was great, but like who would do how is that your first choice in snatching your victim? Just
I know.
Go to sleep. Weird.
Very weird.
Also
very
funny.
Weird. I like the count backwards from one.
Yeah.
I appreciated that. That was pretty funny. I mean, just as a frequent surgery patient, I appreciated that. Because like, and I didn't find out until recently either that it's basically just like it's just a psychological thing. I mean, because as soon as they want you out, you're out. It's just, I mean, it's like, it's just a way of like it's a way of making them sure, like, making sure that you're out, but it's also, it's really not much of it really doesn't mean much of anything because you're out. When you're out, you're out. They turn it on and it's just like, boom, you're gone. You know?
I had a dental extraction where they had to like put me under, and they're like, okay, start to count down from 1, and I pushed myself up on the bed and it like pulled my heart monitor out and I went boop, and then I went out and I was like, oh my god, I like woke up like, am I alive?
Oh my god.
That's the only time I've been under anesthesia, so
I don't even know how many times at this point. It's I mean, it's definitely in the double digits, but it might be like that. God, I have no idea. I don't even want to guess. It's in the 20s. I don't know.
Brutal.
But all right. Well, that this is going to be a hard episode to top. But I'm excited to see what's to come. It's been great so far. And remember, we do have an after show Sunday nights immediately following the show. I apologize that this episode is a little late this week. I mean, by late, it's still going up the next day, but we try to have these available right after the episodes air on Thursday night. But we actually had to re-record this episode because the audio got corrupted. This is our second time recording this.
Round 2.
Yeah. So I apologize for the lateness in getting this out, but But yeah, we just didn't anticipate that. But hopefully next week we will be back to having it available right after the show's over. Join us Sunday night if you want to be a backup co-host. Let us know in the comments, and please just comment. Let us know what you thought of the episode, what your theories are. Comments and likes really, really help us in the algorithm. And we're just starting to build our Dexter following, so we could really, really use that.
Please and thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. Follow us on our social medias. We're at Cyborg Queen Media everywhere except X, where we're at Cyborg Queen TV, but X sucks anyway, and God, it's a cesspool. But we're on Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, even Lemonade, all of those. But I never use Lemonade. I only started an account there because like TikTok was about to get banned, and Lemonade's owned by the same company. So
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, so we have an account there, but we don't really use it. But if you're on Tumblr, we're everywhere. So just find us at Cyborg Queen Media, and have a great week. And we'll see you all real soon. Bye, guys.
Stab, stab.